3.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
What is up? Welcome back to Tomahawk'd. I am your host, Rob Fox. I'm joined by Dan Holloway, and it's a good day. I've enjoyed watching the Braves dismantle the Cardinals for the last 3 days.
Yeah. Cardinals have not looked very good.
No, we've definitely caught them at the right time because that is a team that is not in any way lacking in talent. Like their starting pitching sucks. Aside from, I mean, they have Michaelis and Wainwright, but the rest of it is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
But I mean, the lineup's still legit.
Their offense is legit. I mean, I'm pretty sure Goldschmidt's leading the league in wins above replacement, so
Yes.
he's having a good year.
And Arenado is like fourth, I think. Like, yeah, Goldschmidt and Arenado are both insane. And then, Edman, those types of guys.
Is it top heavy though?
It is. It falls off a cliff. Their catcher's a black hole. I don't really think they have a DH. They're short. They get nothing out of shortstop. It's
Edman is a 4.2 WAR as well.
Yeah.
So it's if you're going to be top heavy, 3 deep's not bad. But the next it falls off to 1.2 after those top 3. I think, or 1.8. Yeah, 1.8 is the next one. It's not the best.
no. But the bigger problem is that they only have 2 starters who are of major league quality in the rotation, which is, I mean, I think in the first 2 games of this current series, they gave up like 10 runs in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, it
combined
was,
or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They gave up 6 and 7 runs total, respectively, but definitely in that 7-1 game, it was 5 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other one, but doesn't look great.
But yeah, no, it's been fun. Strider's going tonight. I will be watching that. I can't stand watching games on ESPN, by the way. The Cardinals Braves was on ESPN last night.
I don't mind ESPN. It's Alex Rodriguez I don't want to hear. I have nothing to learn from that guy.
He's
at all.
not a person.
No, he's an android.
Like, it's creepy almost. Like it's like he didn't grow up around people.
Yeah.
Like he was raised by like a television or something.
It's weird.
It is like, I mean, he's just like not there. It's fucking bizarre. But yeah, and I really don't want to be like, oh, ESPN sucks or whatever, but like, I don't even like watching national broadcasts anymore because you just get like they talk about the Braves, and they should do this, I guess, but they talk about them in a way where it's like, yeah, I already know everything you're saying because I watch them like almost every day.
Yeah.
So it's like unlistenable to me because they're like, they'll bring up like Freddie Freeman stuff or what, but it's like something that maybe the national baseball fan doesn't know.
I don't know. I used to enjoy when it was John Miller and Joe Morgan. That was the best period for them because, like Joe Morgan, I'm not entirely sure that dude knew how to read. Like he was dumb as shit. But those 2 guys together were so good. I really enjoyed that. I was actually excited when the Braves were on national TV
on Sunday Night Baseball
to hear them. Yes,
that was.
But now
back
it's
when
not
it
the
mattered.
case. Now it's irritating to me.
Yeah,
for sure. So I don't know.
Whatever. Before we get into Braves stuff, though, I wanted to talk about something I found interesting about the Mets. Now, I wrote this episode yesterday. And yesterday, after I wrote this episode, the Mets offense did explode.
But only for 1 inning.
Right. Yeah. They stole a victory from the jaws of defeat, in fact. We're trailing in the bottom of the 9th, Braves threatening to get within 1.5 games. Mets pulled it out, beat the Reds, and then beat the shit out of them in extra innings. Regardless, prior to yesterday, we mentioned this like 2 weeks ago, something like that on the show about how the Mets were like really overperforming with batting average on balls in play. Not a lot of hard hit balls, all that type of stuff. So I kind of dove into the numbers a little bit. And over the last 30 days in particular, as the Braves have gained 8 games in the standings, the offense has been kind of dying. The correction has begun. Some interesting stats I kind of want to get your thoughts on them. First off, just a general one. In the last 30 days, the Mets offense ranks 20th in the MLB in WRC plus with a 99, so below.
Yeah, league average.
Yeah, below major league average. Their batting average on balls in play has dropped to 276. And I think they were hitting like 310 or something like that as a team. So that's about almost a 40-point drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. Like their OPS in May was 770 as a team, and it dropped to 670 in June.
Yeah.
A 100-point OPS drop is not good.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Their on-base percentage for the team, this is fucking awful, is 305 in the last month. So 400 is great, but I think as a team you want to be around like 350 or whatever. Like an individual 400. If a team was OBPing 400, they wouldn't lose a game.
No.
They ranked 23rd in hard hit ball percentage, and they're 24th in slugging. They actually still ranked 7th in Fangraphs clutch rating, so they may actually still even be overperforming because they are cashing in high leverage chances, right? So they're still winning games despite how badly they're hitting, which means, I don't know, if they could just be a clutch team, but there could be a correction in the clutch as well that it has not happened yet that could still be happening. I mean, man, they fucking need Scherzer and DeGrom. I mean, Scherzer is back now, I guess, but they need Scherzer and DeGrom back real bad.
Yeah, Scherzer looked really good, though.
He did.
He looked really good. DeGrom, I mean, he's going to be, to be honest, man, unless he comes back really soon, like in the next 2 or 3 weeks, he's not going to be Jacob DeGrom in the playoffs. Like, his arm strength will not be built up enough. He'll be a 4-inning guy in the playoffs for them. That's a big fucking problem for those guys because they're, I mean.
I suppose you'd take as close to guaranteed of 4 scoreless innings every.
No, sure,
day
yeah. I mean, it's a benefit, but it's not him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a problem for them. The offense shrinking is a problem for them, and the other part you got to wonder about is when, or if, things are going to start not going as well for the starting pitchers they have that don't necessarily always do well that are doing well this year for some reason, like Taijuan Walker, for example.
Or Chris Bassett.
Yeah.
I mean, they have, speaking of overperforming, let me look at the sort of behind the curtain stats on team pitching, because I can't imagine, like, their FIP has got to be insane, which is essentially like their luck. Or their, like, reverse luck, I guess you could say. They are actually pretty good. They're not pitching too far outside of their actual performance. Atlanta actually is really high. The Mets they're about even with what they should be, so they're about on track with it.
You haven't seen a lot of regression from Taijuan Walker. His last start wasn't great, but he's over the last 30 days, he's still at a 2.84 ERA, so he looks good. Bassett's out right now.
But with, like, COVID or something, so not really.
Yeah.
Like, he's not on the IL or anything.
No, I think he's got the flu or something.
Yeah.
But he did finally start coming back to normal. Got off to a pretty decent start in April. He was 3-1, 2.25 ERA. Since April, it's like a 4.5 ERA guy, which is about normal. So now you've got Carrasco, Bassett, right, as 2 of your top 4 starters, and they're not playoff starters. Like, those guys make 3 innings maybe.
Maybe one of them.
Yeah, so big trouble for the Mets. And it's they got off to a really good start. It's easy to wonder how things could go wrong for them so fast. The Braves were doing really, really well, but to be honest,
I mean, the Braves are, I think, in their last 35 games, we're like 20 games over 500.
Yeah.
So, which is insane. That's not.
Yeah. But, frankly, despite the regression in their hitting and Bassett and Carrasco kind of falling off the rails a little bit back to the mid-4 ERA level, they've still managed to do pretty well.
They're not playing badly.
No,
like
they're winning team games a lot,
and they're winning series.
Yeah. And that's a character thing, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
It's, I don't like. Obviously, I want the fucking Braves to beat the Mets, but I'm not going to disrespect them. They're performing better than their stats, and there's something to be said about that, right? Like, for a pitcher, if you can get people out when you don't have your great stuff, it's the same here. If the team's not, the individual elements of the team aren't necessarily performing well, but people are doing the right things at the right time enough for you to keep winning games, then that's winning is winning. It doesn't fucking matter how it happens.
No, not at all. It's interesting, like that with the offense. That's got to be a huge just fucking spot of worry for the Mets. I mean, like I'm hoping they keep regressing in that way because I mean their sort of luck with runners in scoring position and balls in play it was unsustainable and it's showing it's unsustainable. But like you said, yeah, man, they're still fucking winning even with this unsustainable bullshit. So I'm excited for that series in 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
that's going to one of the bigger July series I can remember in recent memory for the Braves. I think it's right. Basically, we play them, then we play Washington, and it's the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So we get the Nats next, then the Mets, then the Nats again, then the All-Star break. So that'll be fucking interesting, especially there's something to be said for going into the All-Star break in first.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything, obviously. The Braves certainly weren't there last year, but I don't know. There's something a little symbolic about that. Next up, let's get into what
by the way, the Braves, as great as their offense was in June through that run, they're technically so far through the first 6 games of this month, they're actually better.
Yeah.
In average and on-base percentage, and they're close slugging, but more home runs per game, more runs per game.
Yeah.
So far. That's kind of weird. Although it's not weird. The Braves have a really good offense.
And we'll get into that because there's some interesting numbers that are basically the inverse of the Mets in some ways. But before I want to do that, I want to talk about Dansby. What do you think realistically his MVP chances are? So Bryce Harper is going to miss too much time to repeat. There are 2 guys ahead of Dansby Swanson. Or I'm sorry, 3 guys ahead of Dansby Swanson in Fangraphs wins above replacement right now. Manny Machado, and the 2 Cardinals, Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I honestly, 3 corner infielders versus a shortstop, it'll be one of them. I don't think he's got much of a chance, to be honest, unless he smokes them in some capacity statistically.
Yeah.
Now,
so it's interesting. So
they're also all 4 of those guys are extremely good defenders as well.
Yes.
Goldschmidt and Arenado are literal Gold Glovers.
Yeah.
The other 2, I don't know if Machado's won a Gold Glove at third base, but he's a legit fucking third baseman.
Yeah, those are the only 3 in front of him.
Yeah.
From the NL, there's a couple of AL guys in front.
Makes sense.
I mean, look, Arenado. It's interesting. So Machado is getting a lot of his love with the defense, his wins above replacement love with the defense, as is Dansby Swanson. Because offensively, Machado is he's 20 points higher in WRC plus, but in the counting stats, he's not really blowing anyone away. He's got fewer home runs, and fewer RBIs than Dansby Swanson, and fewer stolen bases. He's just getting on base and slugging well. So a lot of doubles, I guess you could say. The interesting one is Goldschmidt and Arenado. So Goldschmidt is hitting out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, he's wild right now.
194 WRC plus, 61 runs, 65 RBI, 19 homers. So I mean, he's teetering on pushing 40 homers. Dansby's 5 home runs behind him at 14. So it's interesting. So I think there's 2 factors at play, and obviously Dansby is not a betting favorite, and I don't think he is the favorite to win. This is mostly just hypothetical. How could he win the MVP? Because he is within orbit of it. One thing I think that's interesting about the Cardinals, so you got 2 guys there, right? You got Arenado and Goldschmidt. Now, with a lot of people, a lot of teams, a lot of media markets, I would say, oh, they're going to split the vote or whatever. But the Cardinals are a smart enough baseball media market where they would probably just all decide to put their shit behind one guy. And you got to think that would be Goldschmidt, as much as they love Arenado.
I mean, so far, his statistics are better in every category, literally every category.
The defense is the only place Arenado beats him, and he does smoke him in defense. But
Goldschmidt is a Gold Glover as well, right? So it's not like you lose anything. I think Freddie won last year, right? Or was it 2 years ago?
Let me look.
I think there was a break. Goldschmidt won X amount in a row, and then there was a break, and he won another one or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Goldschmidt won last year. Freeman and Rizzo tied in 2018.
That's right. Yeah.
But Goldschmidt has 1, 2, 3, 4 Gold Gloves.
Yeah. Well, he's also. I think it'll be Goldschmidt unless he falls off the face of the earth, because he's going to hit. He's also going to hit, just from the marketing perspective, they got a good chance to win that division, right? We'll see.
Decent.
We'll see what Milwaukee does. Milwaukee's got some really good starting pitching, but
so they're kind of the inverse of each other in a way because Milwaukee, great starting pitching, kind of a shitty lineup.
Sucks, yeah.
Great back of the bullpen though.
Yeah.
Cardinals have a good back of the bullpen too, but good offense, good defense too. No fucking starting pitching.
Yeah. But Goldschmidt's going to hit a couple of milestones actually pretty fucking soon. So his next home run will be number 300, and he's 8 RBI away from 1,000. It's like from a marketing perspective, like, oh, let me see this guy's resume. Well, here are the numbers he had from this year, and then here's the milestones he achieved this year. I think that definitely plays a role in the way the voters think about this shit. 2 great players like that on one team cannibalizing votes. I mean, remember, it's baseball writers and not fans voting for this stuff.
No, I know.
So it's like probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
I just think I don't know that there's a season Swanson could have. Like he would have to be so much better than these other guys to get to win MVP that I don't think it's reasonable, to be honest.
I think what he would have to do is essentially somewhat similar to what Chipper did in 1999, which is kill the team that you're directly competing against for the division, just fucking murder them, which is again the Mets.
I mean, fucking Austin Riley did that last year to Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper still won the goddamn thing.
I know, but it was late. I mean, it was literally just a couple games. You know what I mean?
It was a 9-game stretch where the entire season was decided.
I get that, but Chipper did it for like a month and a half, and then inside of that, like that was like a legendary September. But I mean, here's how it would have to happen. I think for Dansby to do it is obviously Goldschmidt has to cool off, and Arenado has to. Arenado can maintain his pace, but Goldschmidt would need to cool off.
Yeah.
Dansby would need to heat up, and he would need to specifically just go fucking crazy on the Mets. We play them 9 times in August. He would need to have a fucking wild August.
Yeah.
And I think you have a shot because his defense isn't going to go away.
I mean, that would be a good. It would be a good narrative to say, right? He was our best player. Like, so the difference in last year is that Riley was doing it against other teams. He also played well against Philly down the stretch, but it was mostly Riley playing well over here and Harper playing well over here. If it's your divisional rival and you just light them up and that leads to you know, putting them in the rear view or whatever the fuck, that probably does play a bigger role.
And I mean, yeah, pretty much. I think just with Dansby in general, he's a little sexier than Austin Riley as marketing wise, right? Literally a better looking guy. Also extremely Southern, homegrown, and just I don't know, number 1 pick, right? All that kind of pedigree bullshit. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does against the Mets because I think that is going to decide quite a bit of it. I will say this with last year with Riley too. Yes, we beat the Phillies and he played well down the stretch and all that stuff. Still an 88-win team, I guess, which probably takes away. Whereas if the Braves this year, and they probably will have to if they win the division, win like 95, 97 games. Yeah,
that's a good point too. I mean, if the Cardinals themselves, like if that starting pitching problem catches up to them and they only win like 80 games,
right?
Is it like, you know, can you consider a third place team for 2 MVPs?
Or probably even just a team? They're probably going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, sure.
But even if they're like a wild card team in the expanded playoffs, like a team that wouldn't have made the playoffs last year, even, then yeah, I think you get into that a little bit, where you're not necessarily sure about voting for them. And let's be honest, like even though Goldschmidt's having a great year, this isn't going to be like a very good MVP race again.
No, I mean, just based on the trajectory of the way things have been going so far. And we're just over halfway through the season now. There's not a whole lot of chance that the Braves and Cardinals are going to be jockeying for position, right? They will probably be the top 2 wild card slots, which means they'll play, they're going to end up in the same kind of situation. It's not for home field, right? If it's a wild card situation.
Yeah.
And then if it's if the Braves or Cardinals win their respective division, it's also not like it's not like an interdivisional thing where when you beat the other team, you're actually taking away from them as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see that. Like it would be, I like that when there's people in pennant races. That was the only thing about the 98 season. Like the Cubs sucked.
No, the Cardinals sucked.
Or the Cardinals sucked, yeah. Like the Cubs were actually in the hunt the whole time.
They made the playoffs that year.
Yeah, so Sosa was doing that shit while it mattered.
Yeah.
Not that McGuire's done plenty while it mattered before, but yeah, I think that added a level of excitement to it. You just don't. There's nothing sexy about Dansby Swanson, Arenado, or Goldschmidt.
No,
to be honest,
they're just playing good baseball.
Yeah, Machado would be interesting.
Now Machado would be interesting. The only reason I don't think he's got that good of a shot is because A, the sexy counting stats are not there, and B, I do not believe in any way whatsoever the Padres win that division.
No, of course not.
And C,
they could easily come in third in that division.
Yeah, and the third thing with this is that if they do come in hot down the stretch or whatever, it will be once Tatis gets back, and he is going to steal a lot of headlines and thunder from Machado.
Yeah, no matter what he does.
Yeah, so I think you're going to be hard pressed to see Machado getting. I really do think that probably Goldschmidt and Dansby are the two people, assuming they maintain, are the two people that I think have the best chances, given that they're more likely to be on division winners, so on and so forth. But it'll be interesting. I might sprinkle some money on it. I don't know what Dansby's odds are, but he's definitely decent odds, I would think.
Kyle Schwarber over the last 162 games he's played, is hitting 363 with 53 home runs and like 165 RBI or something like that.
Yeah, he's insane.
Any chance, like the Phillies aren't doing all that great, but we've seen teams that aren't in the hunt produce MVPs all the time. Mm-hmm. He's hitting 226, so it's going to be a reach. But if he stays hot and hits 55 plus home runs, it's kind of hard to ignore that.
If he hits 55 home runs,
I mean, he's on pace for 53 right now.
And if he hits over 50 home runs in particular. By the way, so I found the odds, and Schwarber has better odds than Dansby right now.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
And they get a wild card spot despite being, like we've said all year, I think well-constructed given the constraints, but really lacking in talent teams.
I mean, if the season ended today, they would be in the playoffs.
Right.
They'd be in the play-in game. So
if he fuels them into the playoffs, I think that's not a bad bet. He is plus 2,500. Schwarber is. He has the same odds as Arenado right now. Swanson is plus 4,000, same as Ronald Acuna Jr., who I don't think has a chance. But
I don't think he's going to play enough games.
Yeah.
I mean, if he got super hot down the stretch, they mean.
Oh, there is another guy who we didn't talk about who isn't there with the wins above replacement, but probably should be consideration for just counting stats alone. That's Pete Alonso.
Yeah, he's
having a fucking year.
Yeah, he's going to hit 40, 45 home runs and drive in like 130 people. That's a pretty good fucking year.
Honestly, so Goldschmidt, here are the odds, by the way. So Goldschmidt's the favorite at minus 105 right now. Pete Alonso, plus 500. Not a bad bet. Manny Machado, plus 500. Hate that bet. Mookie Betts was on fire before he got hurt. I kind of think he'd have to basically just get back to playing exactly how he was playing. Then Trey Turner, plus 1,400. Freddie Freeman, plus 2,200. Hate that. Get that out of there. Not that I don't love Freddie, but he's not going to win the MVP. Then it's Arenado, Schwarber, Acuna Jr., Swanson, and then Francisco Lindor for some reason. Here's a good one, because who knows what will happen after the All-Star break. Austin Riley's plus 6,600.
Yeah, I mean, he's really not far away from these other guys. I don't know about WRC Plus or WAR into that shit, but he's definitely having a good year.
Yes.
He's I think on pace for 43, 44 home runs right now, the last time I looked. Let's see. He's hitting 273, 21 homers, 51 RBI. So he's on pace for 41 home runs now. Yeah, you got a case there for sure. Especially, I don't know what the defensive metrics look like between him and Arenado this year, but if he was able to do something to make himself stand out there and win the Gold Glove, I think that makes him more likely.
The defensive metrics are stupid, and they don't really like him. They don't like Goldschmidt either, though. So fuck it.
But Goldschmidt wins every year.
Right.
Although I think
I never liked Freeman either.
No, I think Goldschmidt is a little bit. I think he and Austin Riley are the same at third base, except for he's faster. He's like his range factor's got to be higher. Like his movements are more quick.
Who?
Arenado.
Oh yeah.
He's quite. I think he's not quite a bit quicker, but he's noticeably quicker than Riley. So he's probably going to keep running that for a while. But if Riley were able to overtake him, or maybe it's a leadership thing, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, watching these last 3 games, watching the Cardinals, it is like a genuine joy to watch Arenado play third base. Like, he's
awesome.
Insane.
That play he made, was it on Gonsolin or somebody last night?
Maybe
it was so fucking good
when he ranged out into foul territory. Yeah,
that's one of the best plays I've seen all year.
He's fucking nuts, dude. I can't. I love watching him. But yeah, I might sprinkle some money on Dansby. I think he's going to get votes regardless. Yeah. So that's nice to see until he prices himself out of being a Brave any longer. But it's an interesting thing. And look, if you're going to bet on NL MVP or anything else, you need to do it at mybookie.com. It's where we make all of our bets. It's where I was going to bet on Nick Kyrgios to beat Rafa Nadal, but then Rafa just dropped the fuck out, so I can't do that. But look, if you love sports and you love making money, then mybookie.com is the place for you. Not only does betting with mybookie.com make every game more exciting, but when you sign up using the promo code Drinkin' Bros, your first deposit is doubled instantly up to $1,000. With thousands of bets to make on all your favorite sports, there's no shortage of ways for you to win at mybookie.com. On top of having amazing lines and props, mybookie.com is also home to several exclusive contests and promotions that you will not find anywhere else. Get off the couch and get in the game with mybookie.com. Turn your love of sports into your new side hustle. Head to mybookie.com today, again, and use the promo code Drinkin' Bros to get your first deposit instantly doubled up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And I think, let's see if they've posted strikeout props yet, because Spencer Strider is pitching tonight, which means I would like to bet on a Spencer Strider over for strikeouts. The over set at 7.5.
For the way this Cardinals team has been hitting, I think that's low.
You think that's low?
Yeah.
They've been getting a lot of hits off the Braves. They just haven't been cashing in.
They've been. Let me check again to make sure I'm right about this, but I feel like they've been striking out a lot.
Fried had 4 last night, which is a little below. I don't know. I don't remember what Wright had.
They had 8 total last night.
Okay.
The day before that, the Braves struck out only 6, actually. But that was Ian Anderson. He doesn't strike people out.
Right.
Let me check the first game here.
Was that Morton?
Yeah, because Morton's
a little more of a K guy.
He took a no-hitter into the whatever. Oh, no, it was Kyle Wright that started. Morton was, Yeah, that was 8 as well. I feel like if the other dudes are getting 8 strikeouts, Strider's probably going to get quite a bit more, right? I mean,
it is plus money on the 7.5. Over 7.5 is plus 120.
I'm going to take the over on that one.
All right.
I like to live dangerously.
Let's go. But yeah, I'm gonna bet that. So mybookie.com, get in on that shit. Next up, speaking of strikeouts and all that shit, should the Braves trade for a starter and not a reliever?
Yeah, 100%. I think so.
So we have Matzek back in the bullpen. So the talk, and I think we've talked about it too, on and off air. We've talked, I don't know, we don't need much, just maybe another bullpen piece or whatever. But honestly, the way things are going, Ian Anderson, kind of a question mark. And you can't really count on Strider or Soroka to be in your rotation all year.
Yeah.
Strider is going to have some kind of innings limit. What did you say his max was in a year ever, including college and shit?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, in 2017, 2018, for Clemson, he pitched in 51 innings. The next year, 1920, he got injured, I believe, right?
At TJ or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he only pitched 12 innings that year. Missed all of the next year. And then in the minor leagues, I'm sorry. So in 2018, he threw 51 innings for Clemson, and then in the summer ball league or summer league or whatever it is, the Cape Cod League, he threw another 26. So that's 77 innings. And then in last year, so 2020 throws 12 innings, gets hurt. Then last year, a total of 94 innings across all of his major and minor league experience.
Okay.
And then this year, he's now at 59. So he's never thrown 100 innings in a calendar year before.
Right.
Which, I'm not sure if that really matters, to be honest. I don't know. People fucking... Nolan Ryan used to say your arm would rust before it would wear out. And with TJ surgeries these days, I don't know.
A lot better than they used to be.
Most dudes that fucking have arm injuries and have to go get surgery come back better than they were.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how you handle that as an organization. I assume there are people that track this sort of thing and know that you can only throw a guy so much in 1 year. Like maybe they're going to give him 180,
right?
Which would be like that would be like just under double what he's done before. I feel like that's a stretch. Probably 150, 160 is what they're looking at.
You would think. I mean, yeah, I would say 120 to 150 has got to be where his max lives. What is he at right now?
He's at 59 right now, I think.
Okay. And he's been starting for half the season. I mean, he started in the bullpen, obviously. And this doesn't include, like, spring training innings or anything.
No. Well, if you were going 20 or 120, then he's got basically 10 games left to be able to pitch, which, that
10 starts.
10 starts, yeah. So that might actually get close towards the end. If they skip, what I assume is they'll put him in the 5-hole and just skip his starts from time to time.
Right.
But then, the problem becomes if you make a deep playoff run, how much flexibility is there?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because his problem is whether it's in the bullpen or on the mound, he's inefficient because he's young. I mean, he's a fucking baby. He's inefficient, fair amount of walks, right? A little bit of traffic on the base paths. So if you take him out of a rhythm, does that I mean, that's the type of thing. That seems like the type of thing that would exacerbate that problem.
It's also hard to pull a guy out of the rotation who's got 90 strikeouts in 60 innings.
Yeah. Oh, he's out. He's pitching out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
I think his FIP is like 2. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
But he's also not. He's not walking people anymore. His last 5 starts. There's one game where he just threw a ton of pitches and gave up 6 runs and they pulled him. But every other game, it's 6 innings, 5.2, 5.2, 11 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk in these games.
Yeah.
So some of this has been corrected. It's still not a completely tight shot group yet. He's still throwing too many pitches to get those outs.
A lot of deep counts, yeah.
But he's not putting people on base unnecessarily nearly as much anymore.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if you watched his last start, but he's throwing a pretty legit changeup now. It's interesting how quickly he picks shit up. I mean, it helps when you throw 100 miles per hour.
Right, yeah.
And because his changeup is like 89, 90.
Yeah.
And
this is, look, it'll be interesting tonight, too, because he's going to be facing some elite hitters, but he's already faced that before.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to give a shit about that.
No, he did fine against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you can fuck with the Dodgers lineup, you can fuck with anybody. That'll be interesting. So here's the thing, though. So Matzek's back in the bullpen.
Yep.
Yates and Jansen on the way back. Strider, like we said, we don't know really what his innings limit is. And then Soroka just had a setback, bone bruise or something like that.
Yeah, he was doing. I don't know if it was live BP or a simulated game or something. It was before he starts his rehab start in the minors, and took a ground ball off the shin or something like that. And they want to make sure that there's no pain in the legs at all before he starts his 30-day rehab assignment. Hopefully that'll start soon, though. It'd be really nice to have him for most of August.
Yeah.
Just to get him back in, because it's going to take him a minute to get back in a rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, he might not even, depending on what happens, he might not even make the playoff roster.
Yeah, it depends.
I mean, yeah, just depending on everything. But, I mean, you got to think at this point, it's got to be a starter, because you can put Strider into the bullpen again, and then that innings situation kind of goes away.
Yeah.
And then your bullpen's a little more stocked up. My guess is they might go after one of each. Because I guess I don't necessarily know what Kirby Yates is going to bring either.
Yeah, I mean, so luckily, well, I say luckily, hopefully Yates will get back soon so we can see what we're going to get out of him.
Yeah.
The other good news is that Rosario's back now, and we're going to get a chance before the deadline. We're going to get about a month and a half of baseball out of him to see if we really need to go get a left-handed bat somewhere. And if he's doing well, we don't need to go get a left-handed bat. Why not get a starter and even if it's Luis Castillo from Cincinnati, where you may lose him next year, right? That's still kind of worth it, to be honest. Like if
flags fly forever, baby.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you get Luis Castillo, and you make another deep playoff run, and you get the beginnings of a little dynasty on your hand.
Yeah.
I would love to see Luis Castillo. Is there any other starter targets you think could be available to us?
To us, I mean, maybe. I don't know. There's definitely some people available, but I don't know what the market's like right now. Like nothing's really started to develop yet.
No.
So it's hard to say what's going to be. I don't think we should be giving up a ton of stuff necessarily. But if it's like, let's be frank about the roster right now. We're going to have, let's say, it looks like Ian Anderson started to turn around a little bit. Yeah. But we'll see, right? It's still kind of early. I think they should have sent him down to AAA a month ago and let him work the shit anyways.
I mean, he only gave up one run, last night, right? Was it last night? But, fuck. I mean, he was pitching in and out of jams all night.
But we've got Max Fried, Kyle Wright, Spencer Strider, and Mike Soroka, who we know for pretty much a certainty are going to, one, be here and be extremely competitive. That's 4 in your rotation already. So these, like, they've already shipped out to Saint. He got traded to the Angels yesterday. Yeah. I think Tucker Davidson or Bryce Elder are probably next. Yeah. And that's fine. Like, we don't it's Atlanta. There's always more pitching coming. You know what I mean? So if they need to move some pieces like that around, and look, to be honest, position player-wise, there isn't anybody down there that I really give a shit about. So if they want to move some people around and get some pitching that's fine as well.
I mean, at this point, like, is Drew Waters ever getting called up? It seems like
he's 24 now. I mean,
it seems like he just kind of got like cucked by Michael Harris a little bit.
Michael Harris is, he was. Everybody else tried to draft him as a pitcher. Yeah, and the Braves were like, "Nah, we like the way he plays defense."
Right. Like, have you seen him run?
Yeah, now he's hitting 300. Well, I mean, he throws like. Some of his throws from the outfield have been in the high 90s, like 98, 99 miles per hour. So he's got a fucking hose on him, which is funny because now you've got a center fielder and a right fielder with absolute cannons. Yeah. And huge range factors. But, I don't know. I've heard ESPN was talking about David Peralta the other day. But again, I think you got to spend some time seeing if Rosario comes around. I mean, he fucking crushed that hanging changeup last night.
Fucking obliterated.
Who knows? One at bat doesn't mean shit. Yeah. I don't know.
So I mean, I'm seeing here Luis Castillo, Frankie Montes, who the Cardinals I've read they're going to go after him pretty hard.
Isn't he hurt right now? He just went on he just always day to day. I think you're talking about the kid from Oakland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just came out of a game. Injured the other day.
Okay. Well, fuck.
But who knows? He got a cortisone shot in his elbow, I think. Okay.
And then, man, the list gets pretty grim pretty quick. You got like Tyler Mahle here, also on the Reds. So Mahle, ton of strikeouts, not a great ERA.
Not really interested in that.
No, not at all. I could see the Braves doing that I would not be super into, but maybe I'm going to sound like an idiot if October rolls around, is Bumgarner.
To be honest, that dude is a fucking competitor. Mm-hmm. If you can go to Arizona and win games, then you can do it anywhere. Like him coming to the Braves would drastically improve his life.
I think it might perk him up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like he might. I don't know that he's disengaged right now. I don't watch the fucking Diamondbacks enough. I actually did watch their game last night randomly because it was on late. But you have to imagine that even if he is currently like fairly well engaged, that would up his engagement even still.
Yeah.
Southern guy, probably grew up a Braves fan.
He grew up in Texas, so maybe, right?
Did he? I thought he was a Georgia boy. Not a Georgia boy, but I thought he was like SEC country.
I thought he was from Texas. Because they were talking about him going to the Rangers.
No,
maybe I'm thinking of Kershaw.
Hickory, North Carolina.
Yeah, Hickory. That's right. Kershaw's from Texas.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
He's from Dallas.
Yeah.
So he grew up in Braves country, all that fucking shit. That would be one where, like, as a fanboy fan, I would be like, oh, this is fucking fun. This is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
But as like I like to read Fangraphs every day fan, I'd be like, I would have much preferred Luis Castillo.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have him for longer, too. I think Castillo's, 25? Something like that, 26?
Yeah. I mean, dude, Bumgarner's only 32.
Yeah.
He was 21 when he came up with the Giants, when he pitched against the Braves in 2010 in their first World Series run.
Castillo's actually 29. He's older than I thought.
Oh, okay.
That's not that far away.
No. So the only two on this, like, I'm reading a list from The Athletic here. The only two, I guess three, because Montes is good, but the only two that really even pique my interest here are Luis Castillo and Bumgarner. They have Pablo Lopez of the Marlins, but the Marlins are like 3 games out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, and the Marlins, I mean, A's tricked him a few times before, but I don't know if he's going to get him to trade a pitcher in division while they're fucking in playoff contention. That would be crazy.
I don't think they're going to do that. So those are the only two that kind of interest me. I'm good with either one, I guess, but Castillo's obviously much filthier. But I don't know. Maybe you get October Bumgarner, 14 Bumgarner. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to me he's only 32. He seems like he's 40. It's just all the fucking moonshine. Next up, kind of circling back around to our first topic about how the Mets hit like shit. The Braves. So I caught this while I was researching the Mets thing. I didn't realize that we barrel fucking everything.
Yeah, they make good contact. I don't know where the Braves. Let me look that up. Where the Braves rank strikeout wise, but
they are pretty bad on that.
I think so too. I think they have a high strikeout. Yeah, they lead the league in being struck out.
Are they still?
Yeah, 7.
I'm seeing.
Oh no, that's pitching. They lead the league in pitching strikeouts.
We are a top 10 team in striking out. 24%.
We're second
on the dot.
So we're only the Angels strike out more than the Braves, but our team OPS is 757.
Yeah,
which is fucking ridiculous. I mean, we're 4th in the league in OPS. So yeah, it's the strikeouts don't seem to be bothering anybody too much. I think we're second in home runs too, right?
Yeah, because when we touch the ball, apparently it gets smoked. So we're tied with the Yankees for the highest barrel rate in the MLB at 11.3%. 3rd in hard hit percentage, 4th in exit velocity, and then 8th in launch angle to your home run point. I mean, this is a team wide thing. Like it seems like it's not necessarily philosophy of coaching, but like they just grabbed dudes who smashed the ball.
Yeah.
Like think about, I mean, that's what they did. You saw it in the trades last year. Like Alex Anthopoulos specifically went after guys who none of them had great batting averages, but when they put bat to ball, the ball was fucking smoked. Peterson, Soler, Rosario, and Duvall, right? We still have Rosario and Duvall. Ozuna comes back, who's basically the same type of player Soler is. I mean, that seems to be the type of hitter the Braves want, right? And then we've got guys on our team, big, strong fucking dudes like Riley, who do the same thing. Obviously, Acuna's strong as shit. And then Contreras is a bit the same way too, right?
We're actually leading the league in doubles. So everybody's talking about how great the fucking Yankees offense is. And yeah, it's really good. But they play half their games in Yankee Stadium, which is a fucking joke. And I'm going to explain to you now why the Braves are a better hitting team. So first, their average is higher, and their on-base percentage is about 9 points lower, I think. The Braves are, despite having hit, I think, 15 fewer home runs, are still ahead in slugging percentage because they have 47 more doubles.
Jesus.
Right? So the difference, like, fly outs, the fucking extra 15 home runs the Yankees have that would be outs in most places,
right,
are just home runs there, and it's inflating their numbers. That's it. So if you're going to talk about historically good offenses, you know, this Braves team is doing pretty fucking well.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Yankees and Braves are more or less tied for exit velocity. I mean, look, I think the Yankees are third in exit velocity, so they're hitting the ball hard. But yeah, I agree. The Braves aren't getting enough love on that front. I mean, like the reason I thought of this, by the way, is I was reading some Mets fan on Twitter or whatever, and they were talking about how I think the Braves have like 6 or 7 dudes who have a barrel rate over the threshold of league average or whatever, and I think the Mets have like 2 or something like that. It's just so this is an interesting thing I wanted to ask you. We've talked about it from time to time how, like, you know, you put the ball in play, like make them make a play, right?
Yeah.
Is this an extension of that? Or is this something entirely different philosophy where it's like, we don't care if you put the ball in play regularly. It's just when you do put the ball in play, it needs to be fucking scorched.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know how you plan for that. I mean, I guess you could look in the aggregate and see what their average exit velo is, but that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
I think you're looking pretty deep at that point. It might just be a coincidence. But it would be interesting. I would like to hear from, I doubt he'll say anything until he retires, right? But if A says, yeah, we just looked at fucking barrel rate and exit velo for everybody. We didn't care about any other metric. That would be really interesting to know.
That is literally what Billy Beane did twice in his career.
But he did it with on-base percentage and
then it was fly ball.
Fly
right?
ball, yeah.
Yeah, so he first did it with on-base percentage.
Yep.
That's in the movie Moneyball, blah, blah, blah. Everyone caught up with that. So then he went to fly ball rate because he realized that...
This is before launch angle was being tracked, but he just... The team he had working for him figured out that the more fly balls a team hit, the better chances they had.
Yeah.
Or the more types of fly ball, different types of fly balls.
Yeah. And so that's what I want to know, essentially. Like, I feel like I'm sniffing out like a Moneyball thing here where it's like Anthopoulos is just chasing barrels. It's an interesting idea.
It definitely works. I mean, that's what the fucking Yankees should be doing, to be honest. Like, I guess they are in a way. But I think, how many people on the Yankees have a barrel rate over league average? Can you look that up quickly, or is that?
I can't look that up quickly, but I can tell you that their barrel rate as a team is literally tied with the Braves at 9.8. So, you know, and hard hit balls, or here, I'll just go hard hit percentage too, because that's another one that I assume they rank really fucking high in. Yeah, they're second in hard hit percentage, and the Braves are 5th. So I mean, yeah, they're smacking it. Not that they have to hit it too hard to hit it out to right field or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that stadium is a fucking joke.
Yeah. And then last but not least, it's not on the rundown, but I wanted to ask you about it. Our fans have been hitting us up about fantasy baseball and shit. How's that? How's your league going?
I'm in the middle. Like, I won, or last week I fucking tied. It's like the second or third time this season I've tied.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks. But I'm doing pretty well this week so far. I'm 7-3, but I'm third in my league.
In the hunt?
I'm always in the middle. I never win these fucking things.
I'm having a weirdly good year this year, so I assume I'm going to get like a first round playoff exit because everyone's just going to shit their pants in the last fucking 2 weeks.
That's usually how it goes. But a bunch of my fucking players have been hurt. Just constant bullshit.
Yeah.
I have Ozzy Albies. Obviously, I'm just kind of assume I'm not going to see him again. But Max Muncy was hurt and then started off slow. He's finally started to pick it up.
Yeah, he's eating up.
Jazz Chisholm now is on the fucking IL. Like, all of my best players have been on the IL at some point or another. Mookie Betts was out for a while. He's finally fucking back. Byron Buxton has been good, though.
Yeah.
That he's like the fucking best baseball player of all time. He's like the natural.
He's dope.
Every time he gets a chance to play and he's healthy, everybody's like, who the fuck is this guy? He's on pace for 90 home runs. I don't know that I've ever seen a guy in baseball get fucked over by injuries more than him.
Yeah, it sucks because he fucking smashes the ball.
Yeah, considering his fucking talent, Jesus Christ, that dude can hit.
So let's say you're in the middle of the pack. You are in the middle of the pack. Let's say your team in fantasy baseball in the middle of the pack. Trade deadline is coming up in a couple weeks, so you still got time. How do you? What would be your advice to someone kind of middling?
I mean, I guess you can look back in your fucking wins and losses and see if there's any kind of pattern there.
Yeah.
Like if I just lose strikeouts every fucking month.
Yeah.
Or if I lose this, or if I'm close on this but I never win it, go try to buy that thing.
Yeah.
And don't keep starting pitchers on your roster for too long. Because they come and go, man.
I agree with you. And I laugh every time I'm in a fantasy baseball draft and someone takes like Max Scherzer first or second round. I'm like, you're a fucking psycho.
That's stupid.
There is nothing cheaper than a starting pitch. Like you could have a fucking fantasy rotation of nothing but 3s and 4s and win pitching.
Because it's so many aggregate stats. So that dude, how do you say his name? Molly from Cincinnati.
Yep.
Great fucking fantasy baseball because he strikes out fucking 7 or 8 dudes every single game.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have him, and nobody's going to draft him, you just take that dude. There's a ton of dudes like that.
You can find value in the free agent market in pitching that you cannot find in offense.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, if you are middling, and I had to do this last year actually. I ended up making the playoffs, but I was like really middle of the pack for a lot of the way. You're just going to have to punt on some stats. You're just going to have to be like, all right, I can't win home runs or I can't win stolen bases and just hoard. I mean, typically what I would say is the two things you need to chase after are home runs and then win strikeouts, saves. Yeah. If you can't get saves, wins and strikeouts. Home runs, wins and strikeouts. Because if you hit home runs and RBI should take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. And if you have starting pitching assets, but you're in the middle of the pack right now, sell every fucking dope starting pitcher you have.
Yeah, I mean, if you have those guys, if you have some of those guys, Scherzer, or even like, I would say somebody that's dominant but doesn't always hit certain benchmarks, like Max Fried, for example. Mm-hmm. He's going to win probably 85% of his starts, which is good. Gives you a good chance to get a win. Right, but he's only going to pitch 6 or 7 innings because that's all starting pitchers do anymore is pitch 6 or 7 innings. So you still have, 25 to 30% liability on the back end, and he's a guy that can win without striking people out. So he may have 4, he may have 10. You don't know, right? But if there's a guy who his ERA is like 4.50 or something like that, but he's striking out 8-9 dudes every time.
Yeah.
This isn't. You're not playing for a pennant here. You're counting stats.
Numbers.
That's what it is.
And we're playing head to head too, so it's week to week. So a guy's aggregate ERA doesn't necessarily matter if he has a great start for that week. Then you're fucking good to go. Like I'll tell you right now, like Max Fried in particular, dark horse Cy Young candidate, right?
Yep.
If someone offered him to me for Starling Marte straight up right now, who's on my team, I would say fucking no.
A guy that gets on base and steals bases, fuck no.
Right, but in real life, you would take that trade a million times out of a million.
Yeah.
Because fuck it. But I wouldn't do it. Dude, I wouldn't trade him for – I wouldn't take Max Fried for fucking – who else do I have here? Max Muncy. Like, I wouldn't swap that out. Like, it's just literally – that's my advice. If you are middling and you have good starting pitching, sell the fuck out of that starting pitching and try to stock up on homers. And then you can get your own wins and strikeouts and shit just by picking people out of the fucking trash pile every week.
I mean, see what you're close at and try to improve that first.
Yes.
Like if you have 0 stolen bases every week, it's too late now.
Yeah. So
base stealers they don't come out in July.
Yeah.
Like that shit started a while ago. So if you don't have those, you're just done there.
Or let's say you never got around to getting enough closers in the draft.
Yeah.
Just sell your closers off.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to. what is it called? Like that happens. Like it's like there's like living organisms that'll just shut down certain parts of themselves to stay alive.
I mean, that's what CTE is. Technically.
Yeah. You're just gonna have to cut off certain parts of your body to stay alive.
Yeah.
So saves and stolen bases are the two best ones to do on that, by the way, because you can get a lot of value from somebody if you sell them a high stolen base guy or any closer that's getting saves regularly, and then starting pitching too. Like you can find there are a million hidden gems. Those are the types of things where you can play matchups really well. You really can't pick up a batter for a day and be like, oh, he has a good record against this pitcher. Like,
I mean, you'd have to be pretty smart.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that can do anything like that.
You'd be working in the major leagues if you could do that. But yeah, that would be my advice. And remember, if you win your league, sign jersey. We haven't decided which ones we're doing yet.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
They're going to be fucking dope. Last year we had like Ricky Henderson, Greg Maddux, Ricky Vaughn of Major League. And that's, can't even get Indians jerseys anymore.
We'll find some.
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of shit like that. The prizes are dope. We have not forgotten about it. Look, I'm still updating my shit every day. In fact, I have 3 starting pitchers going tonight. Ryan Presley already got a save. Fuck yeah, let's go. So yeah, keep at it. Keep plugging along. I will say this too. If you're not like a normal fantasy baseball player or whatever, unlike fantasy football, it is a lot easier to pull yourself out of the garbage in fantasy baseball.
It is, yeah. I mean, if you get off to it, well, not only there's just less talent in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. So you're talking about now that the DH is there, 9 position players and fucking 13 or 14 pitchers for every single team. On an NFL team, yeah, there's 53 players on the roster, but there's only like a couple of dudes on each team that can actually make you points.
Right.
The defense is 1, right? So that's half the team right there. There's just less opportunities to come back from shit like that. And if you don't, if you're top 1, I've never seen anybody lose their top like 1 or 2 draft picks in a fantasy football league and still win their league.
Right.
I've never seen that before.
You could easily do that in fantasy baseball.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yep.
It would take a lot to fuck that up. So yeah, man, keep going. Like literally all you got to do, it's just like regular baseball in this way. All you got to do is buy yourself a seat at the table. And so keep fucking plugging. If you have any fancy questions, you can always come into my DMs. I won't answer them if you're in my league, but if you're in a league that's not mine, I'll give you advice on what to do if you want it. Slide into my DMs. I don't care. So yeah, hit me up. That's all I got for today.
Yeah, let's get
out of here.